Hi there, this is Niki Rowland, and today I am guest designing for Confessions of a Paper Addict. I'm designing for them all month, and I'm trying to use two cut files today on my layout. I wanted to use this turkey and the Gobble Gobble turkey as well. Unfortunately, I tried really hard to get them both onto the layout, but I think I just cut them too big and end up with just the one on there. But you can see how cool the other one is, and I might be able to use it elsewhere. I have cut these two turkeys out of the black pattern paper you see there. That's an Amy Tangerine paper. The black side, it's got all speckles all over it, and then I have backed them both using a pink paper from the Pink Paislee Again and Again collection. So I wanted the turkeys to be black because turkeys generally are black, but I didn't want them to be really boring, so I wanted to have some colour in there as well. So I was just playing around and I thought pink would work. And I was going to use some pink papers from the rest of the same collection, the Pink Paislee Again and Again. So I thought I would back them in pink. Then I thought maybe I should put some more colour on them, but actually in the end I've just kept them as they are. So I am making a layout today about my little girl who we saw these turkeys at a farm recently, and the first thing she said when she saw them was, "Cool, they'd make a good roast dinner." So we don't celebrate Thanksgiving here in the UK, so this is definitely not a Thanksgiving layout, although I appreciate that's why there are turkey cut files around and lots of turkey stuff going on at the moment because of Thanksgiving that's coming up, but this has nothing to do with Thanksgiving. This is purely my little girl coming out with that very funny line that really made me laugh. It's so funny that she sees that when she sees real live turkeys, that she actually associates them with the food on our plates, but she does, and I just thought that was the funniest thing ever. So I thought I had to document that and make a layout about that, of course. Okay, I'm using the Pink Paislee Again and Again collection, and I have that really beautiful vellum with all the triangles on that you can see that there in the background, and I wanted to use that as a large part of that on my layout because it was so pretty. I wanted to make sure that a reasonable amount of that was used on the layout. So I've torn a large strip across, and I considered putting it in the middle of my layout, but actually I'm going to anchor it up to the top, and I say it is vellum, so it's kind of see-through. You can see the white shining through, and I did try to put some different paper layers on top of it, but they just didn't work, and obviously I can't really put any paper layers under it because then they'll show through the vellums because it's see-through. So yeah, I'm sticking with just that piece of paper at the vellum at the top, and not adding in too much more. So I'm now just attempting to find some embellishments to go with this layout. I don't have a lot of embellishments from this collection, the Again and Again collection. I've only got the ephemera pack, and I've used all the small pieces already, so the larger pieces remain, and actually they're a little tricky to use. So I have, I'm using them as paper layers, that's absolutely fine, but there's no little bits that I can use as embellishments. They're more layering or for writing on. So I'm struggling slightly, so I'm reaching for some other some other embellishments from a kit that I have, and it's got some flowers, and there's some leaves and all sorts of things. So I'm going to kind of mix and match collections here, and not just use the Again and Again collection, but mix it up with some other autumnal themed embellishments too. I am, however, fussy cutting some flowers from that beautiful paper that you can see over on the right hand side. It's a navy blue background and it has pink flowers all over it, and that is from that same collection, the Again and Again collection. So I'm definitely using as many of those as I can because they're really beautiful and pretty, and obviously they go with the papers that I'm using. So yeah, but yeah, that's just a chipboard wreath that I've just layered under my photo. I've also layered up a couple of the larger pieces from the Again and Again ephemera pack. So I've just been working out sort of trimming them down, just resting the edges and putting them under my photo, so you can see that one going on there. And I have a large like postcard 6x4 piece there that, well, maybe it's not quite 6x4, but it's pretty big. I'm layering under my 2 photos, and there's a tag on the right hand side too. So I'm just going to kind of arrange those all in place, and I'm going to go for this big turkey on the left hand side of my layout. So you probably saw me earlier trying to get in the other turkey. So he says gobble gobble, which I thought was brilliant and exactly what I wanted on the layout. It was really funny, but unfortunately I've just cut it too big, and I just can't fit them both on and have a layout that looks quite right. So I should have cut one much smaller, or I should have done several smaller turkeys instead of 2 giant ones. They are really giant. Sometimes you can't tell on screen how big they're going to be when they're cut out. I make that mistake sometimes, and so I've tried to cut off the bottom word that says the second gobble. I've tried to use the turkey with 1 gobble at the bottom, and I've tried to use just the gobble at the bottom, but neither of them work. I just can't make it work at all. So I'm going to stick with just the 1 turkey here, because I have a long title. You see, I want to say on my layout, they'd make a good roast dinner, because that was her quote. That's exactly what she said. So I really want to get that on, but that's obviously going to take up quite a lot of space. So I just need to be careful with what else I put on my layout. I really need to get my title in place now so that I can carry on embellishing around it, and I can fit it in. So off screen there, I've added all my alphabet stickers in, and I put them all onto my hand first, and then arranged them onto my layout, and I have arranged them a few different times as well, because I wasn't quite happy with the placement. And I've also sewn through them with some gold thread on my sewing machine. There's gold foil on the vellum in the background, so the gold thread works really well on this layout. I've done 2 lines of machine stitching right at the top as well, and then I've stitched through all of my my little letters. I haven't stitched through the big roast dinner letters, but I have stitched through the little ones, just because I'm worried that they're going to fall off, and then I'll lose them. So I think stitching through is easier than sticking everyone on individually with glossy accents. So I'm going to definitely stick with the sewing machine for those little teeny tiny letters. So okay, still working out some adding some embellishments from a separate kit, adding in some flowers and some acorns and some autumn themed things. That's the chipboard flower that I've just added down there. So kind of a bright pink. I wasn't sure about the bright pink, but actually there's quite a lot of pink in this layout, so it doesn't go bad. It's not bad. I didn't want to bring in too much orange, because the layout is more pink than orange, so I was just being careful about my the tones of things that I add in, although I wanted a small amount of orange, because I say it is an autumn layout, and I have got some orange in one of the flowers that I'd added in earlier from the other kit, so I felt like I needed to pull that through a little bit more, but I didn't want it to be overpowering. So just being careful about what I add, adding in some little enamel dots now, some hearts and some dots. I've gone for some different, it's quite dark colour, so the black colour in the enamel hearts, and that's because I have the black turkey and I have the black letters for roast dinner at the bottom, so therefore having little pops of black or darker colours and other parts of the layout kind of brings it all together well. So that's why I chose black as opposed to pink ones or white ones. Just adding a little bobble hat ephemera there on the right hand side, and then I'm going to add some twiddles of gold thread as well, so just a little bit coming out from under the photo, because I've got lots of flowers and leaves. The twiddles work really well. I want them to kind of be looking like they're coming out of the flower spray, yeah, so just kind of thinking about how I'm going to finish this off. So I really wanted gobble gobble on my layout, and I just can't fit it in from the cut file. So I've gone for some thickers and gold, and I've not got enough to write it twice, so I've gone for gobble in gold, and then I'm adding another gobble in the pink letters that I use for the main title, and I'm sticking that directly over the turkey, because he's very big and he doesn't have any embellishments on him whatsoever, so he needed a bit of jazzing up, I think. And I've stitched through those on the sewing machine as well, and now I'm finishing off with by adding some sequins. So I have a set of sequins by Spiegelmum Scraps that is called like Autumn Harvest or something. So they work really well. There's some wood grain ones in there, some yellow, some orange, and some white ones. So they work really, really well with this layout. And there's colour schemes, very autumnal, so really perfect. So I just had to shake that then to make sure I'd stuck them all down, and a few moved, so just adding some glue behind those, and then I've just handwritten in my journaling underneath the turkey. So that is me done. Thank you so much for joining me today. Go and check out these turkey cut files. They're great fun and really good fun to make a layout with. Okay, that was Niki Rowland for Confessions of a Paper Addict.